Welcome to Out of Hibernation podcast from St. Mary's Junior Senior High School. I'm your host, Lane Smith, joined here with a bunch of my fellow teammates. We're going to go over, with our first segment, we're going to go over our games so far through the season, and we've had some podcasts. I don't know if you've seen them or not. I don't know if we posted them, but this is our first true podcast. We're going to go over our first weeks of football season. Starting off in Perry, big win for us. What are some of your guys' thoughts on that?
Going into the Perry game, we we were a little bit unsure of how we would be as a team, but I don't know. We came in there and handled business and figured out a lot of things that we needed to work on coming out of the game. But
yeah, I feel like it was just a really good startup for us. We were working through some things prior to our first game, a couple weeks prior to it, and we really didn't know how that was going to go. But once we saw how we could play in that game, we knew that going through the season was going to be pretty good for us.
Week 2, we faced our rival not too far away from us, Rossville. Big win for us. I think it showed how dominant our ground game can be. Just kind of dominated that game. I know we had some late mistakes. The score didn't really show how that game went. Just all around good win for us.
yeah, always feels good to beat your rival, for sure.
Just didn't feel good to beat them in the way we did because we almost lost it all
Yeah, we
in
had
the last 2 minutes of the game.
Some silly mistakes that
Silly mistakes have affected us all season.
kind of let them fight back in it there in the fourth quarter.
I think that was kind of a foreshadowing of some of the struggles we're going through right now with the games we've been having. It's just those little dumb mistakes late in the game.
Yeah.
Really not needed.
We just need to be able to put a full drive and a full game together.
Yeah. Week 3 was our homecoming game against Jeff West. Awesome week leading up to the game.
Lots of fun activities, lots of school pride.
Yeah. I think the game was even better. I mean, came out, scored first drive, defense made great plays, just all around domination through 3 quarters, and then the game got postponed. But
Held them to negative 10 yards on a single first down.
Yeah. And we were able to get JV in.
yeah,
There for
JD
a
played
quarter
second
too.
half,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until the game got called off to the
lightning, but
Yeah.
still good to see our defense put up a shutout too.
Yeah.
Defense has been strong all year.
Jeff West was a solid team too. Like they weren't like
Definitely
a complete joke.
No slouch.
yeah.
They're very athletic.
Yeah.
They just didn't put everything together.
They're just undisciplined is what they were.
Yeah. Week 4 was
Silver Lake.
Silver Lake.
That was a tough loss. That one definitely
that's-
hurt a lot more than this last one was.
Yeah.
Few plays that game.
Could have changed the outcome. That's kind of how it's been going for every loss we've had so far too.
I feel like we also stalled out a lot against Silver Lake. Then we have a ton of penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we had 100 yards of penalties the Silver Lake game, and then Riley County, I think we had 55 or something.
Yeah.
Just self-destruction. It really affects the gameplay too and the outcome.
It just kills our momentum.
Yeah, and gets everybody on their toes and starts them talking and chirping at each other, and just kind of brings the whole team down in the end.
I think our offense has been high powered, is just scoring, getting down to the red zone, and then like we said, penalties backed us up. Just not being able to score touchdowns. Turnover on downs a lot of the times.
Red zone efficiency. We can get down there, and then when we're there, just
We
can't
got
do nothing with it.
Yeah, we gotta be able to get our 2-point conversions too.
Yeah.
Those are big. Past couple games, those have been kind of make or break there.
Yeah, if we would have got that one on the goal line, they would have
Yeah.
been forced to
And
score 2
The first drive when we scored, we didn't get that 2-point either.
Yeah,
That would have been big later in the
That was
game.
when we had got it, but we had a penalty.
Yeah.
Because we had walked in.
That would have won
we
us
had
a
penalty.
game. Like you
Yeah.
can think,
Are we talking Riley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
moved on to Riley County.
you can go back and think about all those things, but 2-point conversions really moved large in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Riley County had over 400 offensive yards.
We had.
No, we had over
Against
400
them, yeah.
against Riley County. Still wasn't able to make it happen in the fourth quarter. Went to, third quarter, we had lights go out. And then
Changed all the
15
momentum.
minute delay.
we had some momentum.
We had a lot of momentum.
We had just scored, came out of half, scored our first drive. Just
We were stopping them on D, and then
It wasn't the same.
then Riley County got the ball back, ran a couple plays, lights go out.
yeah,
And that was another 30-minute wait to get those back on.
yeah.
Came out, tied it up, go to OT, score first play of overtime, and then didn't get the 2-point conversion, which was huge.
Mhm.
And then kind of stopping the Riley County's run game, and that's kind of what they leaned on most of the game was number 20 Sam Allen just over and over, just feeding him the rock. Then they ran a little action play and caught us on the right side of the end zone, but their ability to kick extra points also is huge, crucial. I know
They missed
We-
one now.
We blocked one.
we
Yeah.
blocked an extra point, but
Yeah.
kicking extra points,
We blocked them
Huge.
and they had a bad, or was it like a
We
planned
blocked, we
fake?
blocked a field goal and then they had a
Bad
bobbled
snap.
snap on
Yeah, they had a
penalty.
bobbled
So it was a
yeah.
bubble snap, okay. I didn't know if it
Yeah,
was
they
planned
called
or not.
fire, and then who tipped it? Was it Coden?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Code tipped
Yeah,
it,
Code
I
tipped
caught
it.
it. Yeah.
we also had a chance to tie or win the game
Add that to the.
with a long field goal.
What does it count
What,
for?
about 35
It's a
yards?
deflection.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Would have been like a 35, 40 yarder, 42.
My head.
Never got the kick up because
Got the-
mishandled the snap, but I don't know. You never know. Little things.
Little things like that could have tied the game, went another overtime, and gave us another shot. And we work on PAT 4 or 5 times a time at practice every day. We should.
The field goal we missed wasn't in overtime.
No, that
No,
was
it wasn't.
was-
But we're talking about if we didn't miss that one, maybe Coach could trust it to kick a field goal
No.
at the goal line or
That would
something.
have won the game though.
You mean
That field goal they missed.
Yeah, but I don't think he would have.
do
I
an
don't know.
extra point? You mean
Mhm.
in overtime?
Yeah.
How much was on the
I
clock?
just think teams who can kick
On the
extra
field goal?
points
10.
have such a
So,
advantage.
Because
2 points are no.
It's not even extra points. It's like if they need a field goal at the end of the game,
Especially,
they can. They
especially
need-
in the
That's why we went.
in overtime, because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you isn't it if you score a 2-point or kick a field goal, it's the same thing in overtime, isn't it?
No.
It's
No,
not.
it's still one and two.
It's still 1 and 2.
Still 1 and 2.
So if you got that 2-point conversion, that would have been huge. I think
Because then we would have forced
That's
them
what-
to have to get a 2-point.
Yeah.
and we
it's
didn't
kind of a
stop
50-50.
them.
Like if
Yeah,
you
But
can,
if
then
you
that
kick
puts
the
us in
extra
spot.
point and you're up by 1, now they have to make the decision. Are we gonna go for 2 for the win, or are we just gonna tie and go to another overtime?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
So
think-
there's a lot of strategy to that.
yeah, overtime can get a little hectic. I think we just need to buckle down on 2 points. I know we score touchdowns and it's all good and dandy, but if you don't get those 2-point conversions, you're missing out on a lot of crucial points, especially in close games. With Osage coming up and needed wins, we have to buckle down in the red zone, and we have to buckle down on 2-point conversions.
So how are we feeling about this upcoming game? Is our minds right? Are we having a good week of practice so far?
Yeah.
I
So
think
far,
your
we've
minds-
had practice good, and the biggest thing is we just have to come out the first quarter playing the way we play football. The last 2 games, we've been playing good in the second half, but we just have to come out first quarter.
We got to put a full
Playing our
game
best
together.
game.
We have to put a full game
We
together,
come out,
especially
put a-
against Osage. Osage they're good. They beat Council Grove. Council Grove beat Riley.
They're probably the most put together team.
They really-
we've seen all
yeah.
year.
They're good in every spot.
They're not, like Mark was saying, they're not the most athletic team we've seen, but like Coden said, they're the most put together and prepared. But
It's gonna take one of our best games to beat them too. We can't just go in there, walk in there like we did our last 2 and expect to win, or get as many penalties as we did and expect to win.
yeah,
Also being senior night, it's a huge game for you guys. I think give it all your all. It's also do or die for us. If we lose, we're done.
Yep.
Not actually, they only have 2 extra games guaranteed, but if we lose another game, we're not making the playoffs. So it's do or die for us right now.
There's definitely a sense of urgency there, and everybody's starting to feel that now for sure.
Yeah.
I would say it's even more important to not have penalties on offense this week because of the style of defense they run, where it's like you can take your little short runs and short passing plays, but you're not going to beat us deep. Well, if we get behind the chains, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Gotta
Yeah.
stay on schedule.
Yeah.
Osage runs more of a relaxed kind of prevent, no deep ball, kind of bend but don't break defense. But if we can just take what we can get and get our 4 or 5 yards of play and just wear them down, I think we can take a win there and then move on to next week in Council Grove after following that. So
We just covered our games we've played. We're 3-2, and we covered our game we got this week, and now we're just gonna get into some, I don't know, just regular discussions. So, what do you guys think the hardest positions are in football?
DBs,
Corner.
Corner, definitely.
Corner.
1000%.
So much pressure.
Or quarterback.
There's a lot of pressure on the quarterback for sure, but
Because they gotta know like everything.
I feel like
Mentally.
in a
as far as-
corner's head, it's always like you can't look in the backfield. But like last week, how we said at Riley County, they ran that Allen kid so much. I know I would do it as a corner. You start looking in the backfield.
yeah. And
If
for
you're
me,
thinking, I mean, 95% of the time last week they were running the ball.
Yeah.
But then the 5% of the time, and you're basically one-on-one with your guy always. So
yeah. And for me, like, I kind of get used to, like, in a groove in a game, I guess. Like, you kind of get used to the offense and you get used to their defense. And then, you know, like you were saying, you get used to them running, and then they throw that deep shot just out of nowhere. You know?
And I'll be honest, I play corner. I look in the backfield quite a bit. Like
Yeah, I do
I
too.
use my peripheral to see my guy, but I kind of am more worried about what the quarterback's looking at because for me, high school quarterback, he's gonna look where he wants to go.
Mhm.
Most of them aren't, I guess,
They're usually predetermined
smart
routes.
enough
Yeah.
to go from one field to the other
Yeah.
side. So, and it kind of can help me out.
When you're running with the receiver, what goes through your the corners and safeties? What's going through your head because you don't know what their next move's going to be.
Well,
so
Try to
Please
watch
don't
their
be a
eyes.
villain.
I look at their eyes. So, like,
Yeah, I watch the receivers'
you see
eyes.
their eyes go up and they're looking at the football, and then it's like, this might sound bad, but it's almost like a guessing game. Like, you got to punch through their hands, like, at the perfect time, and it's just, I don't know. And the ball's, like, most of the time placed where you're not going to be able to get it. So,
It's very tough.
but yeah,
Quarterback throws a good ball, then there's
It's
really
tough.
nothing you can do about it.
yeah.
what's one of the hardest routes to cover as a corner?
Comeback.
Double
Um,
moves.
Double moves are tough if you get your
Seams.
eyes in the backfield though, but like, I don't know, I think just slants, like a quick slant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any short route.
Corner
Yeah.
routes, are those tougher or easier?
Corner is easy.
Yeah, corner.
Because usually they're coming from the inside of the field too, and you could see that.
If it's a one-on-one,
Yeah.
though, because like if you're matched up inside on the hash and they run a corner, I like a corner. I'd rather guard a corner than a post because I feel like I can,
You got the
Use the
sideline
sideline.
with you.
Yeah, you got the
yeah, and I
sideline
can
to-
jump it and stay on their back hip and then have my arm
Which is interesting. So as a quarterback, what's your favorite route to throw?
to throw.
Would
Deep
it be
ball.
the post or would it be the corner?
It'd
What-
probably be the post because I do know, like, I guess I play it off of how I feel as a corner. Like, it's tough to guard post if it's a good route, good throw. A corner for me, I feel like the defense could jump it,
Yeah.
and I don't like throwing them.
I know that like when you watch an NFL game, they talk so much about quarterbacks knowing coverages and stuff. And then you watch a high school game. Of course, NFL game's going so much faster. They say every level's faster, but it just feels like as a coach on the sideline watching you guys, it doesn't feel like you get as much time as maybe an NFL guy would. And I think it's like 2.5 seconds usually average for an NFL guy. If they're lucky, they get up to 3. And for you guys, sometimes it just varies because there's so many different blitzes they can do, and it's harder as an offensive lineman to pick those things up. So, like, do you ever feel like you get through progressions all the way through, or do you always have a preset, like, all right, I know that this is the route combo, and in practice, this is the route that's normally open, so this is where I'm going?
Sometimes I have predetermined, like, hitches are easy. You see who's lined up on who. If they're all man across the board, you look at matchups, and it's like,
And you look at like
okay,
how
where's
far
my
off the
receiver
plane,
that I
too.
like
Yeah.
to go get the ball and the defender. But I mean, progressions wise, I mean, I'd say a couple times a game I'm able to go from one side of the field to the other. Otherwise, I feel like I'm so compact in the pocket where I feel like I need to get out. I don't know. When maybe I have good pocket, the O-line's doing well.
Do you also have the ability that you guys have been playing together now for most of your lives, like when you have the certain receivers out there, like, this is the route concept. I know I'm going to Zach because he runs a great fly, for example. I'm going to Sip because he runs a good post. Do you already have that in your mind too, or are our receivers overall running great routes everywhere?
Oh, we have, I'd say everybody runs pretty good routes, but yeah, like, I know Zach's comeback route is probably the best that I've guarded on defense wise against him. Like, so I know.
And his height helps too.
Yeah, and I know he's good at running that route, and he'll most likely be open. I don't know. Sometimes you just like we had a play against Riley County, the corner for the touchdown, the first play, the first drive. That wasn't Griff's route. He was supposed to have a go route, but we said, run a corner, you're man on man. I like that. I like Griff against their defender on a corner route, so that's just what we did, and it worked out.
Yeah. I think another hard position is O-line. I don't know. I think O-line's just tough. What do you think?
Yeah,
You
I
got
feel
some
like
on there?
I feel like the separation between a position like O-line and quarterback and corner is that, like, you don't need to have as much knowledge exactly for every single play. Like, I kind of know what routes you guys are running on some plays, but majority of the time I don't know about your running. I just know what I have to block and what type of blocking we're running on that play. And then the separation between O-line and corner would be the athlete crossing you probably isn't as explosive as an athlete most of the time than the receiver. And you do have plays where it's like you're maybe not in as high pressure of a blocking situation, but I feel like at corner, there's always the threat of them going deep on you. Well, on like a running play like power, I have to down block. That's not as high pressure as a pass protection situation. So pass protection is definitely a difficult thing, especially from tackle. If the end's outside of you, it just creates a little bit of anxiety. But yeah,
I would say a hard thing for O-line too is every week, every team usually has different blitzing packages, different, you never know the size of the guy you're gonna be going up against, and that varies every week. But, you know, the game's come a long ways, I feel like, in high school sports. I feel like probably 20 years ago when I played, blitzes were just normal. You know, your linemen just went where they were supposed to, straight ahead, and then your backers would just blitz a gap that was open. And now you guys have twists and turns and all kinds of things coming at you. There's a lot of strategy that's evolved in the game of football. And it's challenging you guys at a younger age. Like you see, I heard someone say the other day, Osage has like a pro-style offense. A lot of run, and a lot of short passes.
Yeah, like they run slips and hitches and bubbles a lot.
And then he does have an arm where he can go over the top. So you're going to see a lot of pro style there where, you know, a lot of times corners in the NFL lately have been saying it with Jalen Daniels, oh, they run a nice college offense, but he's dominating. So, you know, there's a lot more into football, a lot more thought process, and I think you guys overall do a great job, and you're learning every week, and we're to that point now, like you guys said, it's a lot of high-stake football left to play, and I believe in you guys. And what are your thoughts going forward?
Just you might as well put everything out on the field now that it's basically do or die for us, so.
Yeah, got nothing to lose, so.
Your winning habits have to come out. And it's
And,
just-
and like the coaches said yesterday, we're gonna do everything, like, there's no more saving plays in the playbook. We're putting everything at them and running our best plays all the time now.
And everybody's got to stay together too, because we all know how big of a situation it is, and we just need to do better overall at staying together through this.
Yeah. And like we were talking about earlier, limiting penalties.
As an offensive line, when you guys come up, I know like in the pros, the center calls out a lot. Do you guys have communication keys? Does you guys have one lineman that kind of says like a certain, I don't know if you have keywords that this is what how we're gonna block this, or do you guys all just communicate your own thing? Like, hey, I'm in a man-on-man situation. You guys double whatever your keywords are. Do you guys have a lot of communication? Like
Yeah,
me?
I would say, like, so during, like, usually on a pass play, Coleon will call out, like, how we're gonna protect, and then it's usually like, Jake will listen to me and Hager usually, but then Birch and Dalton will talk to each other, so because we run so many sweeps that our word that we say, they're gonna figure out, and just like last week, we hadn't played Riley County for a long time, and we called out a cut play, and they already knew what we were doing. So it's just, we try and keep it almost where we don't talk across the whole 5 guys, just so me and Hager basically whisper to each other, and then if Jake doesn't know, he'll ask me, and then Birch and Dalton will talk to each other, so we're not yelling out what we're doing across the whole line.
Yeah, it's more of a person to person, the person next to you communication.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our blocking schemes are like by the point in the O-line, so like me and Cody might be doing something different than Jake and Dalton, or me and Cody are working together on a block, so it's like, it's more communication between the people you're working with on that play.
And a lot more, you think, communication during the week of practice, so you just know what to do when you walk up to the line?
Yeah.
And adjusting it like in the huddle in between plays, like, oh, they adjusted, they're doing this, we need to change it.
Also, going back to how we were talking about the O-line being a pretty hard position, just like we were talking about corners and how we were talking about them blitzing and bringing different packages, it's just like we said at corner, like most teams, we haven't faced a blitz all year, and then last week, Wright County kind of had their strong backer, he would basically just spy me and Hager, so if we took a sweep block, he would go on the outside, and then there was a couple plays where he shot the inside and tackled it for a 4-yard loss, so you just have to always have your eyes up and not get used to what they're doing.
And reacting
Yeah.
faster. A lot of reaction.
Because if they catch a tendency, they're gonna try to find a way to break that play by the tendency. You gotta try to make sure you're ready for them to adjust and adjust yourself.
What's the difference for the audience that doesn't probably know, and I'm just curious in your thoughts? You know, we say corner's really hard, but safeties are back there covering too. What's the difference for them compared to
Safeties have a
corners?
lot more help.
Safeties, and they have a lot more of a cushion too.
Yeah.
Like corners, you're at 3 to 5 yards, and safeties are at,
They have a lot more time to read, and
yeah.
they can have their eyes in the backfield, kinda. Not,
More run support, but they
Yeah.
also are a
And
lot
they're
of
not-
times cover
they're-
2 over the top.
Yeah.
helping
Yeah,
you
they're
guys.
not all the time matched up, man.
yeah,
So,
they just have a lot more help and room to work than corners.
yeah.
What's your favorite, would you rather be matched up man, or do you guys like zone defense?
I like zone.
I like our zone,
Yeah.
but sometimes in certain situations, man, is definitely the way to go.
I
against
feel
certain
like
teams, but
zones to me, and I'm a coach, and that sometimes I struggle with it because I never had to play coverage, so I always am thankful that I have good coaches that know coverages. But like, in certain zones, like in a cover 3, sometimes the corner stays in the flats, but your guy goes deep, and maybe the safety doesn't get there in time. Like, how hard is it not to bite on those certain situations? Like, you might get too deep, and all of a sudden the guy's in the flats, and you got too deep, you know, and you were there, but How do you decide what to give and take on defense, where they flood the whole zone?
Well, Mark kind of always says just tackle the short routes. You know, don't give up those big plays. And another thing that's kind of difficult with coverage is that you're reading two people, like at corner, like you're reading, and you gotta see what they're doing at certain times, and yeah, that's it.
Make sure, we play Osage Friday night. It's senior night, and it'll be a good game, a good team coming in here, and obviously we have a great team that just needs to clean up some things, and it sounds like they're playing hard, and come support them, and go Bears.